Are you thinking about buying a home in the Philadelphia area? Whether you're looking at a row home in the city or even a house out here in the suburbs, the market is going to have its own unique challenges. I've seen so many people make costly mistakes that they really didn't anticipate when buying a home. That's why in this video, I'm gonna break down all the biggest mistakes that people make when buying a home in this area. It's going to be everything from just misunderstanding the true cost of living here, overlooking long-term appreciation, even missing key details about the type of home and the neighborhood that fit with your lifestyle. I'm going to cover everything that you need to know to avoid these surprises, make smarter decisions, and just ensure that your dream home does not turn into a financial headache down the line. If you want to buy with confidence and avoid these costly pitfalls, you're going to want to stick around till the end of the video because this one is going to be for you. My name is Zach and I've lived in this area for my entire life, and since being a licensed real estate agent for the last 4 years, I get calls and texts every single day from people just like you that are looking to make a move. So I figured, why not start a YouTube channel so that people like you can know everything that you need to know when you're making a move to this area. If you are making a move to the area, you can reach out to me via text, call, email, even schedule a free Zoom consultation. I'd love to connect with you and see how we can help. If you do find this content helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that little bell icon so that you never miss any other videos. Comment down below, where are you thinking about buying? Is it going to be the city or the suburbs? Let's get into the video. First on the list is just getting caught up in the charm without really checking the bones and the structure of the houses that you're going to be buying. So Philly's going to have some amazing homes, the city specifically. You're going to have row homes, you're going to have old Victorian styles, stone colonials, but behind this are going to be some pretty costly repairs and surprises, potential surprises. In the city, homes are typically built before 1940. So that's going to mean, outdated, unsafe electrical systems, electrical wiring. You're going to have knob and tube wiring, cloth wiring in a lot of these homes. You're gonna have old clay and cast iron pipes that run out to the sewer. They're prone to collapse and fail, especially in this day and age where they're super old. You're gonna have cracked and shifting foundations just from decades of settling. A lot of the homes are not gonna have central air conditioning and very inefficient heating systems. So you're gonna have a lot of wall units, you're gonna have a lot of fans or mobile units that you can move around the property. And then a lot of the furnaces and the heating systems are not gonna be very efficient in keeping you warm, as well as being cost efficient in the wintertime running that system as well. Lead-based paint and old windows that really don't insulate well are also going to be another con to buying these older homes in this area. Lead-based paint and older windows are going to be prevalent in any area or any home of this age, but it's going to be more typical here just because it's a lot more common. So with this being said, as you look at a home online, you look at Zillow, you look at photos, brand new renovated home could look amazing and it could look like it's got everything that you could need, but core systems might not be updated. You could be looking at tens of thousands of dollars, even just a few years down the line, in replacing the AC, replacing some of the foundation, the roof, things like that. Even in the suburbs, the newer homes aren't always completely turnkey. A lot of the properties in the suburbs are going to be built in the early 2000s, so they're going to be approaching the end of their roof lifespan, the HVAC lifespan. A lot of these have stucco siding, stucco exteriors that are just super susceptible to moisture damage, mold, especially in areas like Chester, Montgomery, Bucks County. These counties have specific sightings and issues of stucco problems that are just well documented throughout the county. At the end of the day, don't let the upgraded finishes and the modern design just completely blind you. Always ask the age of major systems, structural integrity, make sure you get an inspection, and just make sure updates were done with permits, done with the county, and done correctly by a licensed contractor. Preferably, solid inspections, solid due diligence can save you tens of thousands of dollars down the line. Mistake number 2 would be underestimating closing costs, especially in the city. We'll talk about that a little bit more. A little pro tip, and I've got other videos up about this. Buying a home, it's not just about the down payment. You're gonna have closing costs that are associated with this, and they're gonna add up pretty quickly. So if you're not prepared, they can come in and be pretty stressful and be pretty surprising when you get to that closing table. The city of Philadelphia has one of the highest real estate transfer taxes in the country. That's about 4.2% of the purchase price. It's gonna be split between the buyer and the seller. So a $400,000 home could alone just be $8,500 plus in transfer tax. And that's on top of inspection fees. You've got title insurance, you've got appraisal costs, lender fees, prepaid taxes and insurance that are all gonna add up to this final number. In the suburbs, you've got places like Chester, Montgomery, Delaware County. Transfer tax is going to be about 1%, and that means your closing costs are going to be tens of thousands of dollars less than compared to buying in the city. It's not a complete win because suburban townships are going to have higher property taxes, especially in these sought-after communities like Chuddy, Rifton, Easton, Lower Marion, Unionville. All of these places are going to have, a lot higher demand, a lot greater school districts, which means the property taxes are going to be a lot higher in these specific areas. The other thing to keep in mind that a lot of these buyers overlook is tax reassessments. So just because the current owner is paying $5,000 a year in taxes, it really doesn't mean that you will once you buy the home. So if the property was underassessed for many years, or maybe it was recently renovated, the township might reassess it at the new purchase price, and that would significantly raise the taxes, significantly after closing, especially if, a lot of these homes we're seeing sell for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 more than when they were purchased, and that could be a significant increase in taxes if they weren't assessed in the last couple of years. A pro tip that I always give to my buyers is having our lender send a side-by-side breakdown for a city versus a suburb home. Not all buyers want to live in the city, but they just compare not just, the upfront closing costs, but they've got the long-term monthly payments, right? You've got estimated property taxes, you've got insurance, you've got the city wage tax. So all these numbers are gonna shift that real cost of home ownership a lot more than you think on comparing the city versus the suburbs. The other biggest mistake I see is just choosing based off of price and not the lifestyle. It's super easy to get caught up in the numbers. You found a bigger home, it's less in the suburbs, newly renovated in the city, and it just seems like a steal. But the price really doesn't tell you the entire story. In the city, you could be buying a place where you walk to your favorite coffee shop, you grab dinner a few blocks away, SEPTA is accessible to get around on and to access, but some trade-offs could be limited parking, right? Higher noise levels, tighter living spaces. We've got videos about this, all over the channel. In the suburbs, you're gonna trade, density for that space. So you're gonna get a backyard, you're gonna get a garage, more square footage, but you're also gonna look longer drives to grocery stores, longer dining drives, social plans, right? Everything's gonna be a little bit spaced out, a little bit longer commute times, and that you've got to factor in. So if you're somebody that's living in the city now and you're used to that spontaneous city life, going out, kind of always being around somebody, the quietness of the suburbs could be a little bit isolating, especially you get home later from work, the winters come, it's already dark out. So just some things to keep in mind. An example in these suburbs would be, and rightfully so, a lot of families focus on the school district, and sometimes they forget to think about commute times for work, extracurricular activities, sports, how far friends, families are. City buyers might think about the walkability, the energy of a neighborhood, and many times they might not think about long-term needs or space or quieter environment. So all in all, don't buy based on the price per square foot. Buy just based on how you want to live day to day. Typical weekday morning, typical weekend morning. What do your Saturday errands look like, your Sunday evenings? And then do the surroundings and the lifestyle that you want fit based off of the home that you are buying. The next mistake would be overlooking quality on flipped homes. It's gonna be one of the most common and expensive mistakes that many buyers make in both the city and the suburbs. Investor flips are gonna be everywhere right now. Philadelphia, you've got a ton of neighborhoods that have seen a flood of these renovated homes hit the market. And in the suburbs, you're also seeing it places like Lansdale, Upper Darby. They've become hotspots for just quick investor rehab projects. While some flips are done well by experienced builders, you've got proper permitting, quality materials, trustworthy workmanship, many are surface level at best and dangerously cut corners at the worst. Here's what to watch out for. New kitchens and bathrooms, original knob and tube wiring, you've got ancient plumbing behind all of the walls and cabinets and sinks. You've got cheap finishes, so vinyl flooring that just peels off after a few months, cabinets that feel really flimsy or just rushed to put on. We see no permits filed for major electrical work, plumbing work, even structural work, just leaving you on the hook if something goes wrong with these components. You've got HVAC systems or roofs that are just installed without proper inspections, with no warranties. So while these homes might look amazing in a listing and photos, even in the walkthrough as you touch and feel it, the bones are bad, the pretty finishes aren't gonna last as long as you think, and you're gonna have some pretty big repair bills even just a year later. Mistake number 5, and you're really not gonna expect this, is gonna be not thinking about parking until it's too late. And I'm not just talking about the city specifically. So it seems like a minor detail, right? When you're house hunting and you're looking at whatever it is, the city or the suburbs, but until you're right circling the blocks for 20 minutes after work in the city, you realize here in the suburbs that your guests have nowhere to park on the weekend, or friends or family come over, they have nowhere to go. So we'll talk about it a little bit more. I've already got a ton of other videos up about this, but in Philly, parking is gonna be a daily battle. You're gonna have older row homes, they don't come with garages, they've got street parking. They don't have driveways or even alley access, I mean, honestly, for the most part. So a lot of times it's gonna be street parking that you're dealing with. You're gonna have limited resident permit zones. So a lot of times it's gonna be open or meter parking. You've got street cleaning days, you've got tow away areas. So those all limit, where and when you can and can't park. You have tight one-way streets where it's only parallel parking on either side of the road. And if you do find an extra lot, a private lot, a garage, you're gonna pay extra for it. So it's $2, $3, a couple $100s a month. In Center City, the average parking cost, monthly parking cost, is about $250 a month. So that's a very significant cost when you look and compare it to the suburbs, where a lot of times the average parking cost is zero. For any households that have several cars, especially in the cities, maybe you work odd hours, whatever it is, it's gonna be a serious strain in your just day-to-day life. In the suburbs, most single-family homes are gonna come with a driveway or a garage, and that's gonna be a complete game changer. You're gonna have guaranteed parking, more storage, a lot less daily stress. But it's not always, a guarantee. So if you're buying in a walkable neighborhood like Media, Narberth, Ardmore, even Ambler, parking can still be a challenge. Westchester, you're still gonna have challenges among parking. Older homes, older areas, especially closer to town centers, they're gonna be a lot smaller, where garages aren't built, street parking is gonna be more prevalent. And in areas like Westchester, for example, you are gonna have a lot more paid parking just because of the draw and the demand of the area. My next mistake is gonna be not factoring in the future resale value. So when you find the home, it's super easy to get tunnel vision. Forget, that one day you're gonna really wanna sell this home. And not every home is gonna hold its value like the next, or is gonna appeal to future buyers like the next one will. So in the suburbs, you're gonna have homes that are on busy roads, corner lots, flood zones, and they're gonna offer a discount up front, right? But then they're gonna come trade-offs when it's time to resell. Buyers are gonna be turned off by the traffic noise, they're gonna be turned by the safety of pets and kids that are by the road, or even just the costs, right, to handle flood insurance or whatever that might look like. Even things like awkward, not functional layouts in homes or floor plans, steep driveways, small front yards, they're all gonna be things that can really make a difference to a buyer down the line when you go to sell it. The city's not gonna be too much different. You're gonna have homes that don't have outdoor space, that are not gonna have a lot of or limited natural light, even located in just undesirable school places or neighborhoods. They're gonna tend to sit longer on the market. Even in the city, you've got narrow staircases, right, going up or down the narrow staircases. You've got low ceilings, even just oddly renovated flips, right, not being functional is gonna be a major turnoff as well. The next mistake, and I mentioned it at the start of the video, is gonna be ignoring the real cost of living differences. So here's a common scenario. You find a $400,000 house in Philly, and you've got a $500,000 house in the suburbs. $100,000 difference amongst the two properties. Assume the cheaper price tag just means lower cost overall. A lot of people are gonna assume, hey, $400,000 in the city, this is gonna mean cheaper cost, lower cost of living overall, but a lot of times it's not gonna be the case. The suburbs are gonna offer more affordability than just the asking price or the list price on a home, and oftentimes city buyers might forget to factor that in. Philadelphia has a 3.79% wage tax. It's one of the highest in the country, and that hits you whether you're a renter or a homeowner. You've got monthly parking costs for garage, private lots, whatever it is, easily $200 to $300 a month, permit fees for on-street parking, meter fees, whatever it is. You've got condo or HOA fees, especially in new construction or elevator apartment buildings. In the city, you're gonna have higher utility bills. Older Philly homes are gonna have less energy efficiency. On the flip side, in the suburbs, you're gonna have higher property taxes, especially in top tier school districts. Like we said, Tready, Rifton, Easton, Lower Merion, Central Bucks even. You're gonna have commuting costs, right? So in gas, tolls, just wear and tear on your car, time just lost in traffic. Then you're gonna have HOA dues here as well, especially in newer neighborhoods, townhome communities. They could be $100 to $400 a month, just depending on the amenities and the area that you buy in. Overlooking commute and connectivity is gonna be my next mistake. So post-COVID, a lot of buyers are gonna have hybrid work schedules still. We've got a ton of videos up about this as well. But even heading into the office 1-2 days a week, your commute can still really impact the quality of life more than you think. So if you live in Media, Westchester, even Phoenixville, your commute into Center City via car or even train is gonna be about 30 to 60 minutes. Just the time of day, the traffic, I-76, Route 1, depending what it is. You got trains, SEPTA, Regional Rail are all gonna be options in all of these areas, but it's not gonna be cheap, and schedules are just gonna be limited just depending on what station and obviously what's going on that week. You got Manayunk, Chestnut Hill, Mount Airy, you're gonna be a lot closer to the action. So maybe 20 to 40 minutes into the city by car or train. Even that can be long because you're gonna have unpredictable traffic, you're gonna have school dropped off, SEPTA delays, you name it. And it's not just about work. I mean, think about your daily lifestyle, or your friends, your family, where are your favorite restaurants at? Do you prefer to walk or drive to coffee shops, gyms, parks? Is your kid's school or activities gonna require driving across town every day? There's gonna be a lot to consider when looking at your commute and your daily drive times. Here's how you can avoid some of these mistakes. Philly and its surrounding suburbs are gonna offer some of the most incredible places to live in the country. But buying here takes a little bit more than just scrolling on Zillow. Here's how you can buy smart. You're gonna wanna work with a local expert like myself who knows both the city and the suburban markets. You're gonna wanna get through inspections every single time. Next, we're gonna budget beyond the purchase price: lifestyle, cost of living, daily needs. Last, we're gonna make sure the home fits for your lifestyle. If you're thinking about making a move, whether it's to Philly, the main line, Chester County, anywhere in between, I would love to be your resource. You could call, text, email, even schedule a free Zoom consultation. We could talk about your goals, we could figure out what areas, home style, and strategy is gonna make the most sense. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and hit the subscribe button, and comment down below. Are you leaning toward the city or the suburbs? I would love to hear where you're at and what you're considering. Thank you for watching, and I will see you around the neighborhood.